16-year-old Skylar Neese disappeared from her home in Star City, West Virginia around midnight on July 6, 2012. Neese's remains were found on January 16, 2013, in Wayne Township, Pennsylvania. On May 1, 2013, teenager Rachel Shoaf pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, telling authorities that she and another teenager, Shelia Eddy, planned and carried out Neese's murder. Neese's disappearance led to new West Virginia legislation that made changes to the Amber Alert missing child alert system. Background information: Skylar Annette Neese was the only daughter of Mary and Dave Neese, parents who struggled to provide her with the bare necessities. Though life's luxuries were out of their reach, her parents worked their hardest to ensure that they could provide the best for their one and only child. Mary Neese worked as an administrative assistant in a cardiac lab and Dave Neese was a product assembler at Walmart. Skylar was a sunny, valiant, bright girl who was an honors student at University High School and focused on her goals of earning a scholarship, attending college, and becoming a criminal lawyer. She managed to land a job at Wendy's where she worked with two close friends. Skylar tended to mother hen her friends, always lending a hand to those in need. Shelia Eddy, commonly called Shelia Ray by her family, is an only child of Tara Clendenin and Greg Eddy. Shelia was born in an economically depressed town called Blacksville, West Virginia. Her parents divorced in 2000 when her father had gotten into a car accident that left him with a traumatic brain injury and permanent disability. Tara struggled as a single mother, who works as an accountant for a car dealership. In October 2010, Tara moved with her new husband, Jim Clendenin, in Morgantown, West Virginia, where Shelia started attending University High School. Shelia had a hard time adjusting to her new stepfather, who she found weird, and often got into heated arguments with her mother. But if there was one thing she liked about him, it was his generosity, in which he provided her with all the brand-name clothing and pedicures she ever wanted. An honest student, Shelia carried herself well in front of other people. However, her neighbors and students who attended school with Shelia thought she was mean, manipulative, and weird. Many kept their distance from Shelia, who they perceived as a bad influence. She engaged in peculiar behavior such as drugs, drinking, sex, and running over small animals in her car. Some recall her performing a striptease at a party while kissing another girl. Rachel Shoaf, a redhead, grew up in Evansdale, a nearby section of Morgantown. She was the only daughter of a merchant father, Rusty Shoaf, who owned and operated Rainer & Co., an exclusive clothing boutique in town, and Patricia Shoaf, a stay-at-home mother. Since Patricia struggled as a single mother, a family friend would pass down nice clothing to Rachel so that she would be best dressed at school. Rachel was a nervous, aloof child at home, and did not have a close relationship with her mother, who could be controlling and sometimes violent, but others described her as having a big heart with other children. A devout Christian, Rachel regularly volunteered with the Special Olympics. Rachel was also an honors student at University High School and had a passion for acting and singing, in which she participated in many school plays. Events prior to the murder: Skylar Neese and Shelia Eddy met and became friends in 2003 at the Shack Neighborhood House, a local community and youth center. Skylar often visited Shelia's house during the summer. When Skylar entered University High School as a freshman in 2010, she met and befriended Rachel Shoaf. The following month when Shelia enrolled at US, Skylar introduced her to Rachel and it didn't take long until the girls became a trio. Disappearance: on July 5, 2012, Neese returned to her family's Star City, West Virginia apartment after working a shift at a fast food restaurant. She disappeared from her home that night. Apartment complex surveillance video showed the teenager leaving the apartment by the window at 12:31 a.m. on July 6, 2012 and getting into a sedan. Neese's father said that she did not take her cell phone charger, that her window was left open, and that she planned on coming home. Murder: Skylar Neese's best friends, Shelia Eddy and Rachel Shoaf, convinced Skylar to sneak out in the middle of the night with them to ride around town and smoke marijuana. Skylar, who had just recently had a fallout with the two girls, was hesitant. At 10:48 p.m., Skylar publicly posted a tweet saying, "You doing shit like that is why I will never completely trust you," which we can only assume was directed toward Shelia and Rachel. After a series of phone calls and texts, Shelia and Rachel have successfully changed her mind and convinced her to tag along with them. The last sign of Skylar on Twitter was a retweet at 11:15 p.m. saying, "All I do is hope." At exactly 12:31 a.m., after Shelia's silver Toyota pulled up by her apartment, Skylar climbed out of her window after stashing a small bench by her window. She climbed into the back seat of the car and the three girls headed away from Star City, past the Sheets Lane Bridge over the Monongahela River. They headed north on Route 19, and planned to turn onto Route 7 when they spotted a state police car parked in front of a hotspot gambling lounge. Not wanting to get caught as underage girls out past curfew, they turned around and headed back to Star City and took an alternate road to Blacksville. They eventually arrived at their destination on Morris Run Road in Pennsylvania, a long dirt road surrounded with forestry, a place familiar to all three girls where they would occasionally smoke marijuana there on the way to and from Shelia's dad's house. Shelia and Rachel each concealed a kitchen knife Shelia had provided under their clothes. In the trunk was hidden paper towels, bleach, handy wipes, clean clothes, and a shovel Rachel had stolen from her father's house. The girls stepped out of the car for a smoke but Shelia's lighter didn't work, so Skylar remembered she had brought her lighter and went to retrieve it from the car. As soon as Skylar turned her back, Rachel began counting to 3, a premeditated signal, and the two girls began stabbing Skylar. Skylar attempted to run but didn't make it very far until Rachel tackled her to the ground and continued to stab her. The scuffle was so intense that both Shelia and Rachel had accidentally pocket-dialed someone. At some point, Skylar managed to grab the knife from Rachel and leave a 3-inch gash just above her right ankle. That's when Rachel stopped stabbing but Shelia kept going. They stopped counting after 50 stabs. The only word Skylar managed to muster during the vicious attack was, "Why?" over and over again. After they stopped attacking, the two girls stood over Skylar as she took her final breaths. When they were certain she was dead, they retrieved Rachel's shovel and dragged Skylar's body to the side of the road where they tried to bury her near a creek, but the soil was too rocky so instead they covered her body with rocks, fallen branches, and dirt. After disposing of Skylar's body, the girls returned to the car to clean up with the handy wipes and towels provided and stashed their bloody clothes in a trash bag and donned clean clothes. The murder, disposal of Skylar's body, and cleanup overall took 3 hours. Investigation. For months police investigated several unproductive leads in Neese's disappearance. Neese was initially considered to be a runaway by law enforcement authorities, and an Amber Alert was not immediately issued in connection with her disappearance. An early tip indicated that Neese had been seen in North Carolina, but the Star City Police Department determined that the individual spotted was not Neese. Neese's parents posted flyers about their missing daughter in the Monongahela County region. Police determined that the unknown sedan in which Skylar Neese was last seen belonged to one of her friends and interviewed her. The friend admitted picking up Neese but stated that she had dropped her off an hour later. The Federal Bureau of Investigation and the West Virginia State Police joined the search for Skylar Neese on September 10, 2012, and began interviewing Neese's school friends. A major break in the case was made when Rachel Shoaf admitted plotting with fellow teenager Shelia Eddy to kill her. Dave Neese stated that these two girls were among his daughter's best friends, and that Shelia Eddy had even helped the family look for her by distributing missing person flyers. After her confession, Rachel Shoaf led investigators to Neese's body. On March 13, 2013, U.S. Attorney William J. Leinfeld, released a press release stating that a body found in Wayne Township, Greene County, Pennsylvania on January 16, 2013 had been scientifically identified as being the remains of Neese. Neese's remains were found less than 30 miles away from her home. Criminal charges. On May 1, 2013, Rachel Shoaf pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. According to the court transcript, Shoaf said that she and Shelia Eddy picked up Neese in Eddy's car. The girls drove to Pennsylvania, got out of the car, and began socializing. At a prearranged time, Shoaf and Eddy stabbed Skylar to death on the count of 3. The teens attempted to bury Neese's body, but were unable to do so and instead covered the body with branches. The court transcript indicates that other students overheard conversations between Shoaf and Eddy about the murder plot, but failed to report it, thinking they were joking. According to Shoaf's plea agreement, she pleaded guilty to murder in the second degree by unlawfully, feloniously, willfully, maliciously and intentionally causing the death of Skylar Neese by stabbing her and causing fatal injuries. In the plea agreement, the state of West Virginia will recommend a sentence of 40 years incarceration. Shoaf's family issued a public apology for her actions through their lawyer. On September 4, 2013, West Virginia prosecutors publicly identified Shelia Eddy as the second alleged perpetrator of the murder of Skylar Neese and announced that she would be tried as an adult. Eddy was indicted by a grand jury on September 6, 2013 with 1 count of kidnapping, 1 count of first-degree murder, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder. Shelia Eddy pleaded not guilty to these charges. The date of the trial was originally set for January 28, 2014, but on January 24, 4 days prior to the trial, Shelia Eddy changed her not guilty plea to guilty to first-degree murder with mercy. As a result, Eddy was sentenced to life imprisonment, with parole eligibility after she has served 15 years. Following her guilty plea on May 1, 2013, Rachel Shoaf was remanded on charges of second-degree murder and sentenced to 30 years imprisonment on February 26, 2014. Skylar's Law. An Amber Alert was not issued in Neese's disappearance because the circumstances did not meet all 4 criteria for an alert to be issued, that a child is believed to be abducted. The child is under 18. The child may be in danger of death or serious injury. And there is sufficient information to indicate the Amber Alert would be helpful. A waiting period of 48 hours had to elapse before a teenager could be considered missing. A West Virginia state legislator from the Neese family home district introduced a bill called Skylar's Law to modify West Virginia's Amber Alert plan to issue immediate public announcements when any child is reported missing and in danger, regardless of whether the child is believed to have been kidnapped. Opinion columns appeared in both West Virginia and national media in support of Skylar's Law, some of which also acknowledged criticism and drawbacks of the legislation. On March 27, 2013, the West Virginia House of Delegates approved Skylar's Law with a 98-0 vote. On April 12, 2013, the West Virginia State Senate unanimously passed the law, but made minor technical changes to the bill which the House of Delegates voted to accept on the same day. West Virginia Governor L. Ray Tomblin signed the legislation into law in May 2013. National media attention. On May 31, 2013, Anderson Cooper 360 covered the story of Skylar Neese's murder. On March 7, 2014, Dateline NBC aired an episode entitled Something Wicked, which chronicled the story of Skylar Neese's murder. On March 10, 2014, the Dr. Phil Show covered Skylar's story. Her parents Dave and Mary were both present, as were 2 women who described themselves as second mothers to Rachel Shoaf. On April 12, 2014, Lifetime aired Death Clique, a fictional drama inspired by the story of Skylar Neese's murder. On July 18, 2014, ABC's 20/20 covered Skylar's story. Season 2, Episode 9, of Lifetime's series I Killed My BFF, entitled Real Life Heathers, chronicles the story with parent and friend commentaries. See also, Child Murder, Missing Person, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, references. External links, CNN Anderson Cooper 360 Degrees story, retrieved May 31, 2013. Darlene Berry and Jeffrey C. Fuller, The Savage Murder of Skylar Neese, The Truth Behind the Headlines, Ben Bella Books, 2014.